Elo Conson says, how are we doing on time here? We got about another 25 minutes. Elo Conson says, why are you all such racist, sexist, bigoted, warmongering homophobes? But we're not. My answer to that would be, if a progressive said to me, why are you all such racist, sexist, bigoted, warmongering homophobes? My considered intellectual response would be, I know you are, but what am I? I know you are, but what am I? Let's take them one by one. Racist. Am I a racist? Racism is the idea that your skin color determines your outcome. That if you're black, you're either likely to be a criminal, or maybe if you're black, you're automatically noble. I don't believe that at all. I believe in individuals. I'm the opposite of a racist. I agree with Martin Luther King. I agree 100% with Martin Luther King. And you will never hear, by the way, genuine racists say that. You'll never hear a person who's a member of the Ku Klux Klan say, I think Martin Luther King's idea was brilliant, or I think that Booker T. Washington was a philosophy that's so noble that I think he's one of the greatest Americans who ever lived. You won't hear a racist say that because they can't, because they genuinely hate black people because they're black. No, I think it's about individuality. I think the color, the content of our character rather than the color of their skin is the exact answer. And so I 100% agree with Martin Luther King on that statement. When Booker T. Washington says that it's through hard work that we will be achieved our equality through and respect through our efforts and not through their generosity, I couldn't agree with that more. That's a black man speaking. When I tell you I agree with Ben Carson, when I tell you that the smartest individual on planet Earth today is Thomas Sowell, that's a definition of not being a racist. You can't be a racist and make a statement like that. You just can't. You can't. You can't do it. A genuine racist cannot say the smartest person they know is a black philosopher named Thomas Sowell. It's not possible for them to do it. There's racism, sexism. Look, if you don't believe that there's a difference between the sexes, there's something cognitively wrong with you. Sexism is the belief that females, well, at least traditionally anyway, sexism is the belief that women are not as good as men and they should not be given full rights as men, that women should be denied property rights, that women should be denied the right to vote, that women should be denied equal pay. That's sexism. I don't believe in any of those things. I do believe that there's fundamental difference between men and women, and if you don't believe that, there's something wrong with you. And I don't mean something like morally wrong with you. If you don't understand that there's a biological difference between men and women's bodies in areas outside of sexuality, you need your head examined. I've said this before, but I'll say it again. Do you know why they have women's categories in the Olympics? Do you know why there's women's 100-meter dash and women's high hurdles, and why there's women's weightlifting categories and women's volleyball? Do you know why? Because if there wasn't, there wouldn't be any women in the Olympics. Because at that level of physical achievement, there wouldn't be any women in the Olympics. As I've said before, it's shocking, but true. If you look at the time, the track time for the fastest woman alive, if you look at the most recent Olympics and you get the fastest time for the 100-meter dash, you will find that the fastest woman in the world is slower than most high school track stars, male track stars, and slower than virtually every college male track star. You think about that for a second. So that's not sexism. That's just reality. Sexism is saying because women on general are weaker than men, they should be treated worse than men. That's not what we believe at all. We believe that the conservative idea of manhood is because we're stronger than women and faster than them, we have an obligation to protect them. Is that sexist? I don't know. If you use that obligation to protect them to keep them down, to not allow them to have full rights, if you give them this kind of, hey, sweetheart, make me a sandwich kind of thing, then that is sexism. But I don't believe that for a second. I've worked for women most of my life. I think the liberation of women in terms of their abilities as human beings is the great achievement of the modern Western world. You really actually look at these people in countries like Iran or Saudi Arabia. You've cut out half your talent. You want to compete with half your talent tied up? And don't you find it interesting that it's the conservatives who are most opposed to these regimes that actually genuinely do put women in sacks and say, you may have been a doctor before we came along, but now you cannot leave the house unless you have a male relative with you. You can't have a driver's license. We're the ones who oppose those people, not the progressives. Progressives think they're swell. The progressives think that they're just terrific. The progressives think that the Palestinians and all of their anti-women Islamic nonsense are the good guys, and the Israelis that have a completely sex-neutral society, which was run by Golda Meir and so on. The idea of a woman leading the PLO or the women leading Hamas, do you really think that's going to happen? It's not. But Golda Meir was a tremendous war president for Israel. So once again, we're on the right side, and once again, they're on the wrong side, which is why they have to launch these attacks. So that's sexist. Bigoted, what's bigoted? What does that mean? Bigoted, I judge people as individuals. I don't judge them by skin color. I don't assume that all black people are bad because they're black, and I don't think that they're all good because they're black either. I don't talk about white skin privilege. There are some white people who are motivated to work hard, and there are some white people who are lazy as can be and blame their troubles on everybody else. Likewise for blacks, likewise for Hispanics, likewise for Asians, and so on. I judge people as individuals. I'm not bigoted. I don't prejudge anybody, but I am capable of discrimination. And when you talk to progressives, they think that discrimination is automatically bad. Discrimination is the ability to tell that one thing is better than something else. If you look at the statue of David and you compare it to a mask that's hacked out of a piece of wood, and you say these are both equal, there's something wrong with you. They're not both equal, and the reason they're not both equal is because which one of these things do you think you could make a passable copy of? Is that racism? How's it racism? I didn't say that a black person can't make that statue. I just said that that statue is better than that piece of tribal art. It's better. It may not be more noble or morally, but it's certainly harder to do. That's the ability to discriminate something better than something else. Is that a sign of mental illness? No. Look, I don't care what you think about me, frankly. Honestly, really get right down to it, progressives. I really don't care what you think about me. The only thing I care about is it true? Is it true? If it's true, that's where I'm going. And if it's something that's true that's unpleasant, I better understand why it's true if I'm going to try to do something about the unpleasantness. So, warmongering, I'll say this about warmongering, okay? Yeah, there are times when being a warmonger is exactly what you need. When you are facing evil people with guns who want to come and kill all the stupid people, like the progressives who call you a warmonger, then what you basically find is that conservatives are ready to die to protect liberal stupidity. And it doesn't work the other way around. Liberals want the society disarmed against foreign invasion and against criminal predation. So if you listen to the liberals, both the liberals and the conservatives will be dead. If you listen to conservatives, both the conservatives and the liberals will stay alive. Conservative children go to the armed forces and go overseas and get killed defending liberal children's right to be idiots. That's actual moral superiority, not imagined moral superiority. And then the final one is homophobes. Listen, the word homophobe means afraid of homosexuals. If there's one group in the world that don't generate genuine fear, I put them pretty high. What is this homophobia thing? A great many conservatives have religious beliefs that tell them that same-sex coupling is a sin. It's not just a crime, it's a sin. They didn't write the Bible, they just believe in it. So, whether or not you think it's a sin, that's fine, that's your business. And the essence of a conservative idea is that people should be left alone. Now, this is where I differ with some people in the conservative movement. I certainly think that gay people have a right to get married. I have no problem with that. I think you can marry your lawn chair. I really don't care, because what these people do doesn't affect my life. However, what you often find in the gay rights movement is not just a desire for legal protection, but an enforcement of acceptance. You can't enforce acceptance on somebody, and you cannot make somebody violate the tenets of their religion. That's what this whole thing is about. So I just say get the coercion out of it and let people do what they want to do. It's entirely up to you. You want to marry two gay people? I really don't care. I was in when I was in Gainesville. I went back. I had a roommate, not a roommate, a housemate who was gay. He was a great guy. I shared an apartment with him. We had separate bedrooms. I'm not dead yet. You never know. But we had separate bedrooms, and I decided to room with this guy because he was a smart, funny, talented, responsible, decent human being. And I wasn't threatened by this. I've been around the theater since I was 15. I've been a theater major, and I've been around actors and theater since I was 15, 16. I've been around gay people all my life. I find them, as a general rule, to be extremely kind, very, very good, decent, honorable people who wouldn't hurt a fly. Just wouldn't hurt a fly. And their sexual activity doesn't particularly repulse me because I don't think about it. It doesn't enter my radar. It's not something I think about. There are some people who have an attitude about homosexuals who we've got to beat up the fags. It's like, you're really trying to beat up the inner fag, aren't you? Really kind of trying to beat up the fag inside that you're really afraid to face. Those kind of people I have a problem with. Those kind of genuine homophobes I have a real problem with. But I don't have those feelings. If you ask me, do I think a gay couple can raise a child better than an abusive straight couple? Categorically, I believe that. But I also think that this fundamental maleness and femaleness is built into the creature. And that's why I think a straight, married, loving couple is the best way to raise children. It's not the only way. I think it's the best way. And I genuinely believe that a man and a woman married raise better boys and girls than two men or two women. Because both boys and girls need the difference. They need the difference, and the difference is there. They need to understand the balance of the difference, and they take the balance in different ways, but they need it both. And I'm not saying that a gay couple can't raise a kid without love or without anything else. I just don't think it's quite as good a job. Now, look, I could be talked out of this. Maybe I'm wrong. It's possible I'm wrong about this one, but I don't think I am. But ultimately, it's not my business. It's just not my business. I just don't care. So how can I be a homophobe if I just don't care? I don't care. And I think really ultimately this is kind of where this whole homophobia thing comes at. You know, it's so stale. It's so 1970s. It's like so 68, 69, 70. It's like, well, I guess you're just can't handle the fact that I'm gay. Not only can I handle the fact that you're gay, I'm actually pretty bored with the fact that this is your identity. Really? That's your identity? That? Okay. I'm a gay man in the Air Force. Well, why can't you just be a man in the Air Force? What's this all about? I'm not shocked. I'm not shocked. I'm not mortified. I'm not taken aback. I'm not knocked off my perch. I'm not any of that stuff. I don't care. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. I don't care. What kind of person are you? Are you a good person? Are you brave? Are you courageous? Do you do the right thing? Do you step up? Do you contribute? You know, what kind of person are you? That's what I'm interested in. And if conservatism is the idea of individuality, then all of these things are just plain not true. They're not true. I'm not a racist because I don't believe in race determines behavior. I think individual choices determine behavior. You know, I'm not a sexist because I don't think men are automatically good or automatically bad. I say, is it a good person, a bad person, good man, good woman, bad woman? What is the individual doing? And take it all the way down the line. And some people need some warmongering done to them. They need some warmongering. ISIS needs a little warmongering done to them. And as I said in that speech, the problem with this coexist bumper sticker and the reason conservatives groan is because we're not the ones who need to learn how to coexist. The people in this society have the coexist bumper stickers to teach us about how to coexist. We're already coexisting. The fact that we're in America means we're coexisting. The fact that I'm not blowing your head off because you have a coexist bumper sticker on your car means that I'm already able to coexist. I don't need you lecturing me and telling me how to coexist. I actually have a much more high tolerance of other people's viewpoints than you do. The place where you need the coexist bumper stickers are in Iran and Russia. And they don't have them there. They're the ones who need to coexist, and they don't. They're the ones that are aggressive. They're the ones that are doing the invading. They're the ones who need our side to be ammoed up for. Hopefully that helped you out there, Aloe Conson. You have about 10 minutes left.